banded hinges. So before we get into this tactile cue exercise, we're not going to use a tactile cue right at the beginning. We're going to actually just run through how we do this properly, because if there's any exercise in this course that you're going to struggle with, it's probably going to be this one. So what I would say is use something like the couch setup we have here, because Johnny can turn himself around, he can walk forward even further, Johnny, and now it's took his kind of lower legs out of the equation so that we can train this hinge pattern. Why do we want to focus a specific hinge pattern movement? Because once you start doing things like ribs and things like that, you don't want your ribs, your thorax locked with your pelvis, what we call mechanical coupling. We want everything to be open so that you can move properly, so that ribs don't sublux, and more importantly, so that when you bend over to pick things up, you use your hinge pattern. Keeps your joints safe, especially structures like SI joints that don't have any muscles that directly span it. When we do something like this and we're not really thinking about what we're doing, it keeps us safe. If we just suddenly start doing crazy flexion and things like that, we could run into problems if we're super lax in that area. Although we don't have to be frightened of flexion, but if you are lax in that area, it can be an issue. So Johnny's going to demonstrate a hinge pattern with you, and then we're going to break it down. So take it away, Johnny. Now, keep in mind, this isn't a squat, it's a hinge, okay? More importantly, to understand that you're doing it right, and remember, motor learning, we have to learn how to do it properly. If you were learning a song on the piano, you have to hit the right keys in the right order at the right time. So he needs to ensure that every rep he does is correct. What he doesn't want to do is do one too far or not far enough. So when you look at his hands, as Johnny goes down, the palm of his hands is hitting his kneecaps, okay? Every time he comes down, hands hit the kneecaps. If your hands hit your kneecaps, you're doing it correctly. However, try not to do a kind of T-Rex impression and end up kind of bending the arms as you come down, because then you're going to end up going way lower than you're supposed to and not doing the exercise correctly. So what you're probably going to find when you do this is you're going to turn it into a squat. If you kind of give me like a little squat, Johnny. Oh no, forward, my friend. This is why we've got the chair. If you try and squat, it's going to push your hips backwards. It's going to feel off balance. It's not going to feel good. And it's going to help stop you from doing the wrong movement. So we're tall. All you need to think about in this position is keeping your arms straight, palms going to knees, and your hips going backwards, okay? Head position as well. Try not to, so if you keep your head fixed on that point, Johnny, when you go down, try not to do this, because you're just going to create loads of curvature here that we're trying to avoid. We want just the hips hinging. So look forward, then look down. You want to keep Johnny's head and neck is just locked in one position. So when he comes up, it brings the whole of him up. You are going to probably try and look up when you do this. Don't, guys. Just focus on pushing the hips back. Hands to knees, and then up. So the hips go back, but to get up, squeeze your butt cheeks. Squeeze your butt cheeks. Push the hips forward. Try and avoid doing this kind of rolling movement that a lot of people are going to want to do. It's just a short, quick movement. Hips drive forward. If you give me a couple of driving hips forward, drive. Now we're down. Drive. This is the movement we're going for, guys. And if we hold Johnny in this position, nice neutral spine, nice 90 degrees here at the hips. That's what we're going for with this exercise. So let's take a look at what it looks like banded. Okay, so we are banded now. It takes our exercise into the realms of being a tactile cue now. Anchor point for your tactile cue band needs to be around hip height, okay? So door handles, sometimes banister spindles will help, or your little foam attachment point for the door. Use that. Keep in mind, if you're not used to this exercise, it's going to feel weird. So when you walk out, just walk out a little bit, test the waters. But what we want is enough resistance that if we just relax, the band will cue us into the right position. A lot of people are going to struggle to get into the right position, so let the band do the heavy lifting. Just wrap them out, Johnny. Only thing is, you now don't have the luxury of having, we had the couch, for instance. You don't have the luxury of the couch keeping your lower legs in the same position. So what happens is, as you start to hinge, you might start turning it into a squat, which makes me so mad. Don't do that, guys. Hinge it. So what I would say is maybe if you've got somebody in the house who can help you, have them kind of squat down like I am, and you just put your hands there, put their hands here, and it just helps cue you into the right position. Or if you really want to take it kind of to the next level, try and do it yourself. Just focus. Some tips to help you. Think about, a penny. Body distribution, weight distribution. Throw yourself forward. Remember, the band's going to pull the hips back. If you don't do anything with your upper body, you're going to fall backwards. So you need to set yourself forward. Imagine you're trying to reach to pick something off the floor. That's the weight distribution. And remember, every rep, palms, knees, and big, strong squeeze your butt. It's the hips are going forward. We're not rolling. Give me a couple of bad rolls, Johnny. There we go. Oh, actually, that's a good point as well. What Johnny did there was he didn't actually move this part. He actually lifted his kind of thoracic spine. So he kind of trailed. His thorax came up first, then his lower back. I want you to think about the zones of your body. Let's say this is zone 1, this is zone 2, this is zone 3. We want to move from zone 1. Zone 1 brings zone 2 up, zone 2 brings zone 3 up. Perfect. Remember, strong squeeze of your bum cheeks, palms to knees, making sure moving from the butt. Perfect.